All right. Everybody alert? Ready to roll? All right, we're going to start with our post-race press conference. We've now been joined by our race-winning crew chief, Alan Gustafson. Congratulations, Alan, on another victory.
Thank you. Appreciate it.
All right, we're going to take questions for Alan. If you have one, raise your hand. We'll get a mic to you. Who would like to kick us off with questions? All right, we'll go to Jenna.
Big day. Big question coming. We're waiting. Bated breath.
Congratulations, Alan.
Thank you, Jenna.
You're welcome. Why was this race so calm by Talladega standards?
Yeah, it's a great question. It seems like kind of both the races were before it. I don't know if maybe the stability of the car or it was just hard. You know, we've seen that all year. It's not, 3 lanes don't seem to work out. You know, there doesn't seem to be a middle option. It doesn't get fanned out. It's kind of about staying in line and pushing, and I think that contributes. And it was certainly a bit tamer than I expected, but I kind of expected, you know, maybe not the typical 4 wide just craziness, because it just doesn't seem to generate, the cars just don't seem to generate the performance and the huge runs like they did. It's more just about that kind of steady seesaw momentum.
Yesterday, your driver had some comments that were a little out of character for him to take such a stance. Did that surprise you?
It's the second time I've been asked about it. I don't know what he said, so it's hard for me to say specifically. I'm assuming he spoke out about the safety. Is that correct?
He said NASCAR took a step backwards.
Yeah. So I mean, you know, look here, you know, the way I look at it is I certainly want him specifically and all the drivers, but you know, my concern is Chase to be as safe as he possibly can be. We know this is inherently a dangerous sport, but I want him to be as safe as he possibly can be. So from my stance, I'll do anything I can do to make sure he's as safe as possible. And I feel like collectively in this garage, there's a huge resource of intelligent people that we can push this forward and get to a position where it's not a topic. It's not something these guys are having to worry about week in and week out. I certainly feel terrible for Alex. And yeah, you know, Alex shouldn't have sustained the type of injury he sustained from the hit he took. And we just all have to accept that and move on and move forward and push forward to make it better. And I think we can do that. I'm very confident we can do that. And that's what we got to focus on doing together. And collectively, I think that we've got a lot of resources to make it happen. And I'm sure NASCAR will do everything in their power, as will the teams, and we'll get past this quickly.
All right, we're going to come up front to Jordan, right up here. And then we'll go to Steven, and then we'll come back up front.
Jordan Bianchi, The Athletic. I apologize, this was already asked. Coming into this race, obviously you guys want to win every race, but was there, looking at the bigger picture of, hey, if, you know, we want to be smart, make sure we finish this race and get as many points as possible? Basically, what was your mindset kind of coming in?
I felt like I really felt like this race was crucial. I felt like we had to capitalize. You know, we got ourselves into a hole last week, unfortunately, again, which I was super disappointed with. And you just know, like, right, you know, you can't, we made a mistake the first round, and then we made a mistake the second round. And you just can't continue to do that and expect to have success. So we needed to come back, and we needed to get ourselves righted. And I felt like we needed to get level, you know, up close to the top and level with those guys that had a points advantage on us. Unfortunately for us, it wasn't like it was this massive points advantage. You know, it was, I don't know, Joe was somewhere in the 20s, I think, and the other guys were like 17 points or something like that. So our objective was to score as many points as we could and try to get as close to level as possible. And yeah, we were able to do that. We got really good points in both stages. And I think really after that, we were in a really good position to not have to take crazy risks, but our car was really good and the execution was great, and strategy was good to keep us up front, and then Chase did an unbelievable job. So it all worked out. But I do think this was, you know, it wasn't going to be, if we had an issue here, you know, I know we have good performance at the Roval, but I had no interest in leaving it for the Roval. I felt like we needed to take care of business, or at least get level set with those guys where we didn't have to go out and win or just have an amazing day, because you just never know what can happen there.
All right, Steven, go ahead.
Steven Toronto, CBS Sports. I promise this is an easier question than I gave you at Nashville. 3 out of the 4 super speedway races this year went to regulation and ended there, and the Daytona 500 was only 1 lap over regulation. So from a strategy standpoint, how much did that make wargaming the last stage of that race any easier, or did you still have to have your contingency plans for overtime, double overtime, triple overtime, etc. in your hip pocket?
Yeah, I think you still had to have a contingency plan. You never know what can happen. I mean, all right, this is probably the oddest caution. I won't say maybe not the oddest, but super odd caution right at the end of the race. The guy comes down pit road and stops in the pit road, and then they throw the caution for it. So super odd, but you have to be prepared for it, and that's what you balance is ultimately when we all pit on the green. It's how long you want to take. How long you want to sit there and put gas in the car. So you want to take enough that at least in our opinion, to give us a slight buffer, but still execute a fast enough spot, just maintain track position, and I feel like we did that.
Thanks, Alan.
All right, go ahead.
Nathan Buckley, MBS Speedway. I'm not sure how much you take a look at tire wear during races, but overall, do you feel this race was better today than on tire wear than last week at Texas, and if so, why?
Yeah, tire wear wasn't the issue at Texas. For clarity, it was sidewall failure. So even though our tires would come off at Texas, you don't look at them and say, hey, they're wore out, we're into an issue. And ultimately, we have our tires cut apart after most every run, as we did at Texas, to see the integrity of the sidewall. And up until that point, we had got a clean report that we blew the tire. But here, I would say that tire wear was probably a little worse than the spring than we expected. It wasn't into a position that we felt like it was going to put us, in any harm's way, but it certainly was a little bit more than we had expected, and just something that we had to be conscious about. But we were able to double stint those, first two stages with some comfort, and so I don't think it was hugely different. It just was slightly more than the spring.
All right, any final questions for Alan before I let Mr. H up? Okay, we'll end with Jenna. If we can get a microphone, thank you.
Two. Oh, yeah. Special.
Sorry to ask another car question, but what is if everyone's in agreement that the car's too stiff, what is a reasonable time frame for that to be corrected?
Yeah, I mean, I don't know the logistics behind what all has to happen as far as manufacturing and what goes on, but I think the first step is we need a solution, right? I mean, that's what we've got to focus on. I think that's is a good goal for us as an industry to collectively look at, what's the best solution we can come up with in the short term, and if we can get that solution get the solution figured out, and then implementation, you can worry about that later. And that's certainly not my area of expertise, but I think, the solution is the key right now. And to my knowledge, that doesn't exist. It may exist, but we need to get that figured out and how to move forward. And I think collectively we can all work together to get, Hendrick Motorsports, the boss, owns an amazing place, and we can accomplish some amazing things. And I think that if we get a solution and implementation, if we all pull together, we could do a lot in a short period of time.
All right, Alan, thank you for spending some time with us. Congratulations again on that win.
Thank you.
All right, we're going to continue with our post-race interviews. We'll now be joined by our race-winning team owner, Mr. Rick Hendrick.
You don't mind, I'm going to stand up.
That's okay. Yeah, I totally understand. Those chairs are not maybe the most comfortable to climb in. So, okay, we're going to start with questions with Mr. H. If you have one, please raise your hand. We'll get a microphone to you. And Rick, while we wait, do you mind just to comment on Chase's season this year and just, I believe this was his 5th win. Talk a little bit about that team and just as the playoffs get a little closer to Phoenix, how that team is gelling together.
We had a lot of momentum going, and then we had the tire failure, and we just kind of hit a bump. And so this is good momentum to have the points now to go into the Roval where he's really good and get in the round of 8 and move on. So this is great momentum for him. This race means a lot to Chase, and it was great to see the fans excited, and boy, it was a heck of a race.
All right, we're going to go to questions. We'll start with Jordan.
Jordan Bianchi, The Athletic. There's been a lot of talk this week about safety and different solutions or possible solutions that could be implemented. Ultimately, it is going to cost money to get whatever that solution is. As a team owner, are you comfortable having to spend more money on this aspect of the next-gen car, something you've already invested a lot in and probably weren't prepared to invest more in?
Absolutely. I mean, for sure. Excuse me, I lost my voice. But, you know, our drivers are so important, and we don't want them hurt. And so if it meant buying all new clips Monday morning, I'd do it. I'd be happy to do it because we want them safe. And a deal like Alex or Kurt Busch, you know, that's hard. And so I'm all for whatever it takes. And I think the teams could fix it. But if NASCAR wants to do it, I think everybody working together, we could do it in a hurry, test it, and have it on the cars ASAP.
The drivers have had communications with NASCAR about safety and everything. I'm wondering from team owners' perspective, have you had that conversation with NASCAR expressing, hey, we need to do something?
Yes.
Okay.
And they said they were working on it.
All right, additional questions? Okay, we'll get a mic to Jenna, please.
Thanks. Congratulations. This must have been a weird week with Alex's injury. Like, did you have any idea that anything was wrong prior to Thursday?
No, after the race, he said he didn't feel good, but it was Monday morning, and you know, I didn't know anything because he stayed in the car, and then Monday morning he didn't feel well. They started working with him Tuesday. Wednesday was good. He felt much better, and then Thursday he backed up. He didn't feel good, so he went to see the doctor, and so I think hopefully he'll be back next week. I think he will. He's feeling good today and yesterday. I guess he'll go back and get evaluated here midweek.
Did his concussion amplify your urgency in your message to NASCAR?
Yeah, absolutely. You know, these guys are stars, and you spend a lot of money like bringing them along over the years, and then to have them hurt, and you got sponsors and everything involved, and they're in the playoffs and they get knocked out of the playoffs, and it's not about the playoffs, it's about safety, and having a guy that you know, wants to be able to race again. And you know, we have done really well in the last 10-15 years with safety in so many ways, the seats, the headrest, everything. But this car, from the rear impact, is just like you're sitting on a piece of steel. And I watched the video of Alex's head when he, you know, those guys usually try to lean a little bit forward if they think they're going to have an impact, and then the whiplash back. It's you know, we need to fix it as soon as we can.
And lastly, yesterday Chase took a very strong stance, and he said definitively NASCAR has taken a step backward in safety. And that's very unlike Chase to sort of offer an opinion on controversial topics. Are you surprised that he did that?
No, I think these guys are concerned, and you know, he sees a teammate hurt, and he saw Kurt hurt, and he's a young guy with a career ahead of him, and you know, nobody wants to do something that they could fix and eliminate it. So no, I think Chase, this has been on his mind, but you know, he just, you know, I'm proud of him. You know, he doesn't say much, but when he speaks, everybody knows he's just not popping off. He's concerned.
All right, we're going to go up front to Jeff, please.
Hi, Rick. William would be above the cut line without his penalty. How confident are you that you might be able to get those points back for him before the Roval? And where do you see his chances of advancing to the next round?
Well, William's a good little road racer, and he's a really good plate racer. He didn't, you know, 25 points in the playoffs is a ton. I mean, in regular season, if you got a bunch of races, that's you can make it back up. But you know, I've seen other cars under caution hit each other, and I've seen that in that situation. He wasn't trying to spin him, but they got a tower full of people. They could have put him in the back. They could have done something right then, and rather than wait till Monday or Tuesday and then make a decision. That's like, saying you're going to tell everybody who won the race, next week. And that's a little strange. I think it was excessive, and we'll just see what happens.
All right, additional questions?
Okay.
All right, Rick,
Thank you.
congratulations again.
Thank
Thank you. All right, we're going to continue with our post-race press conferences. We've now been joined by our race winner, Chase Elliott. Congrats, Chase, on that win there. We will start with questions for Chase. If you have one, please raise your hand. We'll get a mic to you. And who would like to kick us off with a question? All right, we're going to start with Jordan.
Jordan Bianchi, The Athletic. A couple of playoff drivers, Hamlin, Blaney, said over the final couple laps, they kind of had one eye on winning the race, obviously, but also kind of the bigger picture in the points. And I'm wondering what your mindset was in those laps, especially because you were in a little bit different point spot.
Yeah, I mean, I don't really know where we were as far as our point. I mean, I thought we got some pretty decent stage points throughout the day. So I don't know where we were, but I just felt like that was, when we took the green there for the restart, I thought my opportunity to win was to get up in the top lane. It was certainly a risky move, but I felt like we had accumulated a decent number of stage points throughout the day, so it made me feel a little better about moving up there and trying to give myself a shot to win. I just didn't think I was going to be able to win from the third lane in the bottom row with that few laps left. So I just thought that was my shot. Fortunately, I moved up there. It gave me a great shove for that lap and a half, and it was far enough ahead to hold Ryan off there at the line.
All right, additional questions for Chase? Okay, go to the back, please.
Dominic Ottogone with the Racing Experts and ESPN Radio Albuquerque. Just want to get your thoughts on tying not only your current teammate Kyle Larson, but former teammates Casey Kane and Jeff Bodine on the all-time wins list at 18.
Didn't know that. So that's really cool. It's kind of hard to believe, honestly. I mean, 18. I'm super proud of that, honestly. Just knowing how hard one was, to have 18 now is really special. So I would love to keep adding to that, obviously, as time goes on, but very grateful for the 18 that we have, and proud of our team. It's been the same team for the most part. Been some changes in there, but Alan and Tom and myself, at the 9 team, and Eddie have been there the whole way. So that's a special thing, and proud that we've been able to grow together and give ourselves that many opportunities to grab checkered flags. So hopefully we can get some more.
All right, we're going to come up front for some additional questions. We'll go to Jeff and then Holly, please.
I have a couple questions about the last lap. First of all, like with Jones, were you having to drag the brake, or how did you stay connected with him so well for that long?
That was all on him. He was able to give me a really good shove. I didn't feel like I did anything special. I think just the timing of, how he got connected, and the 2 guys on the bottom were also connected, so they weren't aggressively side drafting us, trying to pull us apart. It was just good timing, but honestly, he did a really good job. I mean, I think he deserves a ton of credit for that. Obviously, I'm very thankful that he was that committed to me for the last lap and a half. I have a lot of respect for Eric. I've raced with him long enough to trust him, in that situation to not turn me around, and we certainly pushed right to the limit. So it was a handful, but that's kind of what you have to do in those scenarios, and I thought he balanced that well.
And then the other part is, so you get a pretty big shove out there, like you got left out there on your own. Did you feel like coming to the line, like, okay, you had enough distance that you were going to be able to cover them, or were you worried like, oh crap, like I got out too far here?
I was certainly concerned, but when I saw the 34 come unconnected from the 12 there in turn 4, and I thought that was my opportunity, so I tried to, get down and pull Ryan back as hard as I could and get away and try to get clear. I thought that was my safest place to be. And then, when they got side by side again, I thought I was a little worried about getting out there too far. When they got side by side for just that brief period of time, I thought that was enough for me to make it. But I knew it was probably going to be close, and Ryan was going to have such a big run. I didn't really know how I was going to block it, so just try to waste as much time as I could and hope I got to the line first.
All right, we'll go to Holly.
Sorry. Congratulations, Chase. Racing Ryan, you guys are such good friends. Does that help you at all when you're competing against him? Do you kind of know maybe what he may or may not do? And what is just kind of the dynamic like on that? Because this isn't the first time, the two of you guys have settled a race.
Yeah, I mean, I obviously know Ryan very well, but I don't know what move he's going to make, in that particular scenario. And a lot of times I don't know that even as a driver you do until you kind of get faced with it and you have to make a quick choice as to what you think is the right decision at that time. But I'm not smart enough to put all that together and, stay ahead of him for sure. But, just try to make the right decisions based on the information and the things that I see as quickly as possible and hope for the best.
So at that time, you guys aren't, obviously you're not friends at all. There's no added benefit to you knowing him as well as you do.
We're still friends, but we also both want to win, so, and I think we both get that. We've always had a really, really respectful friendship on the racetrack, but also a very good understanding of our jobs and what's at stake, on Sundays.
All right, we're going to go in the back to Justin and then up front, please.
Yeah, Justin Schuler kicking the tires. First off, have you talked with Alex at all and know if he's able to come back to the Roval at all?
I talked to him, after I heard about everything, but obviously I have no idea what his status is, and certainly not going to speculate on that.
And then obviously you've raced with Noah Gragson in the Cup Series a few times with him racing for colleague and Beard, but now as a teammate for the first time. What was that experience like? I don't think you guys really connected on track, but what was that experience like leading up to the start of the race?
Yeah, it was good. I know Noah just from his time at JRM and obviously my history there. And then, some of his Cup races, too, and I thought he did a good job. I thought he was making good decisions. Really, just as a whole, I thought everyone was pretty smart about the things that they were doing today and kind of understood where the line was and what we could get away with and what we couldn't. So that was nice. I wish that would continue, at these places, but I'm sure it won't. But I just thought it was a really good race. Everybody kind of understood where that boundary was and just lived within it, and it put on a really good show all the way to the to the finish line.
All right, we're going to come up front, please.
Hi, Jace. Congratulations. You talk about a race where there weren't many cautions, relatively clean race, lots of lead changes. What are your thoughts about the race in general? Like you said, no boundaries. It was a clean race, and it was really exciting for the fans to watch.
Yeah, like I said, I thought it was a good show, and another close finish right there at the start finish line. It's not much more you can ask for, really.
All right, we're going to go to Dustin.
Dustin Long, NBC Sports. Certainly, Chase, you've been through the ups and downs of the playoffs, but I'm curious, just this particular playoffs with how things have gone, has that challenged you in any other way that others haven't? I think this has probably been as much of a swing as what you've had in the last few years in terms of the playoffs from race to race, and is winning as much a relief because of the unknown of the ups and downs, and you don't have to worry as much about next week?
Yeah, I mean, I feel like I've been doing this long enough to now to understand that you know, the roller coaster that is racing is gonna roll on, right? And you either learn to ride it during the good days and during the bad days too, or you don't. And that's just part of the deal. So yeah, just try to ride the wave. You know, had a bad week last week, had a good week this week. Obviously, great to move on, you know, into the next round and to get 6 more bonus points. So all those things are fantastic, and we're super proud of that. But this deal can humble you. You know, we can go to the round of 8 and crash again like we did the first 2 rounds, or you can go in there and maybe have a really good first race. I mean, I don't know. You just show up prepared and do the best you can, and figure it out from there.
All right. Any final questions for Chase? Okay, we're gonna take one final question up front.
Given that you've won half the races at the Roval that have ever been won, you being so good there, did that factor into maybe rolling the dice and making the move that you made there at the end?
No. I mean, no. I was just trying to think in the moment as to what I felt like I could do and be smart and give myself a shot to win today. Yeah. So I wish I could piece things together that far ahead, but I just don't have it in me.
All right, Chase, thanks so much for joining us. Congratulations again on that win, and
Thanks.
best of luck next week in
Appreciate
the
it.
Roval.